Hey you guys! I've gotten a few questions lately about how to get smooth string crossings on the violin. The main thing that has helped me get smoother string crossings is a technique called bow planes. Bow planes are basically just being aware of where your arm is supposed to be when you're playing on each string. Generally, your arm should be in the same plane as your bow. When you play on each string, your arm follows in the same plane. Once you get used to playing each string individually, now we can start crossing between strings. So what you can practice is slurring between two different strings. When you're crossing to a different string, you want to lead with your elbow and follow with your wrist into that next plane. So for example, when I go from G to D, I'm going to smoothly move my elbow and my wrist to the next plane. You should practice doing a down bow from G to D and then an up bow from D to G. You want to focus on getting that smooth transition by leading with your arm and following with your wrist. Practice that with slurs first to really hear if there are any bumps when you're crossing from string to string. Once you get used to doing it with slurs, then you can take the slurs out and still keep that same motion going with separate bows. You see how I'm moving my arm before I go to the next string, just so that it's already in the right plane. Then all you have to do is follow with your wrist and switch the string right when you're changing the bow. Once you get that pattern down, you can switch the direction of your bow by starting with an up bow instead of a down bow. So I'm going to do this with slurs first and then with separate bows. Make sure you're paying really careful attention to if you hear any bumps along the way. So the first exercise that I showed you is what I call making a rainbow shape with your arm. You're basically making a little arch. The second exercise is what I call making a smile on your string. And remember, you can always take the slurs out afterwards and get used to doing it with separate bows. You can also do other combinations of the different strings. After G and D, you can do D and A. Try them with separate bows. Then you can do A and E. Once you get used to crossing between two strings, you can start crossing between three strings and then eventually going into four strings. You can call crossing between three strings a big rainbow and a big smile. So here's the big rainbow. And the big smile by starting on an up bow. Once you get comfortable with that, you can start on the D string and do D, A, and E. After you've practiced that for a while, try to do all four strings in one bow. You're always keeping in mind where your arm is and make sure it's in the same plane and you're just fluidly guiding your arm between all four planes. So try out these exercises to help you become more aware of your bow planes and keeping your arm parallel to your bow as you're crossing between strings. Let me know if this is helpful for you guys. Thanks again for all your feedback and I'll see you next time.